the host of the Gridiron.
Oh, wow. Welcome to the Gridiron. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking awesome. I don't know why that cracks me up, but if you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Description box below, very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, there's a little ways down also in the description box. A link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Basically, we have over 9,400 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. If I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, boy. Well, unfortunately, looks like we got the number. Once again, as of right now, still got ways to go and all that. But of course, looks like the Giants. It's just it's like a battle between the 3 most. I don't know. I certainly don't want to say the Jaguars are the most pathetic, but or they're maybe they're just the most cursed out of the 3. As of right now, because Giants if they win a game or 2 or something like that, they're going to fall down, But as of right now, the Giants are 3rd right now. But the Jags finally get Lawrence back, and he's scrambling out. He went down a little late. He should have gone down a little earlier, but that knocked him out. So, guy comes back. He comes back and boom, he's back out again. Don't know if he'll be able to play next week or whatever. He had a concussion and everything. But if we keep our fingers crossed and if Lawrence can come back, maybe lead the Jaguars. Let's see her. Let's see her before we start talking about our own. Well, not our own, but the Vikings. Danny Dimes here for just a second here. But let's see her. Let's try this Jaguars schedule. What do they got left to play here? Oh, man. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Are you serious? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is like one of the greatest bits of information I've seen in a long time. Listen to the Jaguars got to play the final 5 games. Hopefully they can win a game or 2. And if they don't, but the thing is, they don't need a quarterback. But anyway, listen to Jaguars. What are they got to play? Next week, they got to play the Titans. Then they got to play the Jets. Then they got to play the Raiders. So what's beautiful about that, right? Unless it winds up being a freaking tie. One of those 2-win teams is going to have 3 wins. Right? He's got it, right? So they're going, right? So then they got to play the Titans again. Then they got to play the Colts. So, the Jaguars have a really easy schedule. Oh, my God. That's a toilet bowl schedule right there. If Lawrence can come back, hopefully he can get a couple wins out of that. Man, that would be fantastic. But also leading me to my other point real fast would be with the Raiders. I'm up to here with I can't even talk. I can't stand. I'm happy for Andy Reid, great guy, Patrick Mahomes, but I just can't stand the Chiefs now. It's getting to be like the way it was with the Patriots with Tom Brady. But it's just like not that they're saying the Raiders would have kicked the field, would have been successful or whatever. But come on, you fumble a snap. Are you kidding me? I just can't. And that's the way the Chiefs want to win in football games. The other team has to fumble. Come on, man. What's up, buddy? Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of that was that was that was a little shocking what he wound up saying there. You know what I mean? So I probably would have gone about saying that a different way, but I don't know. Good old Tom Brady, yeah. But so the Jaguars got easy schedule. I said the Raiders, and then us, but unfortunately we lost, but the other two teams lost too. So now we're, thanks to the strength of schedule, right? Now the Giants had the hardest strength of schedule between those three teams. Once again, a long way to go, but now the Giants are now third. So it is what it is. But I mean, the Jaguars have an easy schedule. The only thing is that, the Jaguars get an easy schedule, but they don't need a quarterback. So the Raiders do, and so do the Giants. But for a loss, yep, we were better. Yep, that's it. That's it. Yeah. We got with the Saints coming up, right? We got the Colts, we got the Ravens, we got the Falcons, and we got the Eagles. So I'll tell you what. Let's see. I don't even know. Well, between the Raiders and the Jaguars, right? One of them's, unless it winds up in a tie, anything's possible. But so the Jags have an easy schedule. Let's hope Lawrence comes back and he's healthy and he can lead them to a victory or two. That would be fantastic. Patriots. What do they got? 3 wins or 4 wins now? Three or 4. Right? Let's see. Let's see. Let's try the Patriots schedule. Let's see what they got going on there. They got the Cardinals and they got the Bills. Oh, I got 2 games against the Bills. Jesus Christmas. Let's see. They got the Chargers, and they got a hard schedule. They got a real hard schedule. Yeah, I mean that game there, the damn Patriot game. They almost beat the Chiefs. Oh yeah, I mean they were beating the Colts. I think it was 4th down or something like that. The Colts scored. It was like and they scored, and then they went for 2, and then they got that. I mean, I was following on my phone. See, on ESPN they got a little chart there, and of course the Colts is yards, and then a completed pass, and then yards, and a completed pass, and another completed pass, and then he marched your way down the field and say, I'm just like, I was kind of hoping the Patriots would win because I think they have 1 or so less losses than the Colts do, but Colts pulled it out. Well, let me see what do the Raiders got here. I mean, the Raiders should have beat could have beat the damn Chiefs. All right, let's try this out here. Raiders schedule. All right, they got to play the Bucs, then the Falcons, then the Jaguars, then the Saints, then the Chargers. So, hey, anything, right? I mean, let's see, the Bucs on the road, then they got the Falcons at home, then they got to play the Raiders. One of those 2 teams has got to win the game. Let's hope. Then they got to play the Saints and then the Chargers. So, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they can certainly win a game or so there, win 1 game. But so, unfortunately, now I mean, just as of right as the second, right, the Giants are 3rd. So, well, it seems like they got themselves a quarterback, right? If they can do well in the draft. The biggest thing is, did they find themselves a quarterback? And it seems like quite possibly they did. Now, if they can start surrounding the guy with some more talent, they could be off and running. That's quite possible. That's the biggest thing. Because you can keep. I mean, they drafted Mac Daddy Jones. I don't remember what year it was, but whatever it was, a few years ago, they thought maybe he might be it, but nope. So since he's not the quarterback, then you got to go find yourself another quarterback, and so it looks like they did good for themselves. Congratulations, right? 3 seasons of building, good coaching. We need to find a good rhythm, and after the next draft, Well, hopefully, I mean, I said that the draft that they just had, it was, I mean, obviously, with Malik and you got Tyler Newman and Phillips and Theo Johnson and Tracy Mursal. Oh, well, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, those five seem like that's a pretty good draft right there. I'll tell you what, if we can get another five like that next season, that would be huge, really, really huge. I mean, because we got five real. I mean, you're looking at it, right? Because we got Theo's a starter, Malik's a starter. Tracy, right? He's got to hold on to the ball though, but he'll be a starter, right? Newman's a starter, and Phillips a starter. So we got out of this one drafted, we got five starters. Now it's kind of tough to find five starters in every draft, but I mean, if we can find a few more starters next year, and that would be huge, and we have some money to spend too. Right, but we need to improve on their skills. Well, that's the thing. You always gotta, you gotta draft, you gotta develop, and then you gotta keep them, right? I mean, some of these guys, we get, and then they just after their contracts up, we just bye. Just let them go. We keep getting one hit wonders. Sounds like songs from like the 70s, the one-hit wonders. Yeah. But I mean, you got to, I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is. Shane has his, I guess, his, what would it be? His blueprint or whatever. We're not paying a safety $17 million, whatever it is. We'll pay an edge rusher, we'll pay a tackle. Maybe obviously maybe wide receiver, whatever his blueprint is. So apparently, paying X amount of dollars to Xavier McKinney. I guess that's what it is. And same thing as you see with Saquon, he didn't want to pay Saquon. X amount of dollars. So I mean, he has his blueprint, and he's sticking to it. So it is what it is. All right, then I saw this. So obviously they wanted Daniel Jones after they demoted him. They wanted him to stay home with pay, and of course he didn't want to do that. But they wanted him to stay home because of his injury guarantee. Basically, they pretty much they like really his lifting, regimen really got. I mean, so they pretty much anything they could pretty much like bubble wrap him. They really didn't want him on the premises. It seems like. Then talking about what you were talking about there, they do bring up. So Tom Brady criticized former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones for asking to be released after he was benched for business reasons. Brady prefaced his comments by saying this: "I don't know how that whole situation went down." So when we do the legwork for him, here's what we learned per a source with knowledge of the events. For starters, the Giants initially wanted Jones to stay home with pay. And, that's not – oops, sorry, buddy. My buddy there, Randy. That's not uncommon because that's what the Raiders did 2 years ago when they benched Derek Carr to avoid a $40 million guarantee in 2023. Carr agreed. He agreed. Daniel Jones wanted to move on. It is what it is. The player has to be willing to do it. He can't be locked out. The rule states back to Steve McNair's grievance against the Titans in 2006 after they drafted Vince Young. The Titans didn't want McNair to get injured while on the premises, triggering his otherwise non-guaranteed salary. McNair and the NFL Players Association fought it. They won, and they set a precedent that teams cannot keep a player from showing up for work for non-disciplinary reasons. There's nothing wrong with the Giants wanting Jones to stay home. It's the natural extension of the decision to take him out of the lineup. But the request for Jones to stay home laid the foundation for Jones eventually asking to be released. His first choice, this is from NBC. So NBC found out his first choice, we're told, was to remain active and to help the other quarterbacks prepare to win games. I can dig that, right? trying to maybe be a team player, I guess, right? When he decided not to stay home, the Giants altered his workout program in order to minimize, if not eliminate, the possibility of injuries. He wasn't going to be throwing any footballs at practice, and his lifting program was significantly restricted, all in the name of keeping him healthy. Business considerations prevented Jones from doing anything to help the team. No real practice other than scout team walkthroughs. It was this. Basically, what I kind of hearing, he was kind of like he was the safety for the scout team, but he was just kind of, from what I understand, like Bob Papa was talking about this. He was just like standing there. He wasn't like, calling out signals and coming up and making tackles and, jumping up and knocking balls down and stuff. He was just kind of like standing there. And of course, the media and everybody makes a huge deal out of it. Oh my God, he was a safety. Oh my God, like he was down in the box trying to take on a pulling guard and stuff. I mean, he apparently Bob Papa said he's just standing back there, So, he didn't want him to do any throwing. Limited lifting. He wasn't getting ready to play because he wouldn't have played. He wasn't permitted to participate in practice because they didn't want to trigger his $23 million injury guarantee. Again, there's nothing wrong with the Giants wanting to avoid the injury guarantee, but that helps explain Jones' eventual decision to ask to be released. Brady, we're told, didn't reach out to Jones or his representation to obtain an explanation as to why Jones asked to be released. It's easy for Brady to say he would have handled the situation differently because he was never put in that situation during his 20-year-plus career. What would have done it if the Patriots or the Buccaneers had benched him for business reasons, asked him to go home with the pay, and then kept him from practicing when he said he wanted to stay. Also, Brady left the New England teammates in free agency after the 2019 season. After the 2021 season, he retired. Roughly a month later, he came back in the interim, and an effort was undertaken to lure him to the Dolphins. It has never been suggested that Brady wasn't on the board with the plan to pair him with Sean Payton in Miami. After Brady had essentially quit on the Buccaneers, then during the 2022 training camp, Brady left the team for more than a week. Let's see here. All right, then I got Giants reportedly asking to stay home. There's another article. There's a bunch of articles from Empire Sports. And he said they kind of like the same thing. He said his first choice was to remain active and help the other quarterbacks prepare to win games. But, I mean, the Giants, pretty much, did not want to do anything at all to trigger that injury guarantee. After Jones was officially benched, the Giants dropped him to quarterback 4 on the depth chart. He was subsequently seen playing scout safety during practice once again. Bob Papa said he was just kind of like standing there. Right. I mean, he probably had a better chance of getting injured walking to his car after practice than just standing in the middle of a field pretending to be a safety. Right. Teams have been in similar situations with the quarterbacks in the past. The Denver Broncos benched Russell Wilson before the end of the 2023 season and then was released in the offseason. Then, of course, the Raiders with Derek Carr. But Jones with this as a fresh start now with the Vikings, and after they won, I think they're 10-2 right now. So his, as of right now, for what I'm seeing here on Over the Cap, is his salary his cap numbers from the practice squad is $100,800, $100,800 on the practice squad. It's cap number. So now what they can do, like with him, right, is they can bring him up 3 times. They can elevate him 3 times. Wants to be throwing the ball. Oh yeah. Nah. It shouldn't have gotten him hurt. That's all he does is throw the ball. I mean, that would be really freaky if somehow he's throwing the football and he winds up getting injured. I mean, that would be really freaky. But they just wanted to try to do everything because the first, it would be like if something were to happen to him, The first thing everybody will be doing, of course. See, now what they're doing, they're making fun of. It seems like maybe they're trying to make some fun of the Giants asking Daniel Jones just to stay home, But if they let him participate or whatever, and something God forbid happened to him, everybody out there would be like, what are the Giants, stupid? Don't they know he could possibly get hurt doing something like that? So they just tried to do everything they tried to do. Unfortunately, you don't know what it did in the locker room, right? I mean, it's a business decision. Things happen, Jones wanted to help. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a shame, as I say, because you don't know, it did in the locker room because, he wasn't maybe a vocal leader or something like that, but he's always like the first one in, like the last one out and all that stuff. And all of a sudden it's like, you're just being asked you just stay home. You know what I mean? That's a shame. I mean, because you wanted to possibly help the team out, right? I mean, who's got more knowledge on the Dable system and all of that than he does? I mean, he's been this is his sixth season with the team, right? He just wanted to help him out, but unfortunately, that's unfortunately the business part of it, and it doesn't always work out the best. I mean, it's a great game. It's the best team sport in the world, right? But unfortunately, the business side of it, makes things stink. But he's got himself a fresh start, and good for him. I mean, I don't want to say they're guaranteed to go to the playoffs, but they're 10-2. Even if they lose the Vikings, even if they lose their final 5 games, they'd be 10-7. They still got a real good chance of making the playoffs at 10-7. But so good for him. Be interesting to see though where he winds up next year. Where he winds up at, does he stay with Minnesota, right? And is he happy with that situation? And what does he want to get paid? And that. All right, then we got, speaking of quarterbacks, I saw this. This is kind of interesting. Which quarterback is the best fit for the New York Football Giants? Now, Ward had a good game, even though they lost. Shador had a good game. And then Jalen Milroe, they won as well, too. So this article here talks about, right, which quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft is the best fit for the New York Giants? They talk about, I guess, pretty much like the top 3. Because, I mean, as of right now, just according to PFF, that's all I go by. And just listen to some other people, whatever. There's like three teams, three quarterbacks as of right now that have first-round grades on them. Right. I mean, there's a couple other guys, obviously, but also by PFF, they got like second or maybe third round grades on it. I mean, you got Milroe, you got Ward, you got Sanders. Those are like the 3 guys. Right. Neither one is 100% polished. They all have some good things to them. They all have their own flaws to them. So, first of all, they talk about the Giants released quarterback, obviously Daniel Jones. With that, it's time to look at who is on top of the quarterback class that is potential, but is yet to see someone separate themselves as the unequivocal QB1, which is true. It's like one. One time, maybe. Obviously maybe Ward, and the Sanders, and Sanders does really good, and then Milroe has a horrible game, and but they all, they did pretty good this week. All right, so first of all, they talk about Cam Ward. There wasn't a bigger story in the transfer portal last year than Washington State quarterback Cam Ward going to Miami with the expectations that he would lead them to the promised land. It's yet to be seen if he finishes his mission, but he's currently leading Miami on their best season since 2001. And if it weren't for historic seasons by Travis Hunter, and he would be the Heisman frontrunner. Yeah. According to this article, this is from SI.com. Ward might be the best pure passer in the draft this year with the arm talent to make every throw asked of him and the ability to throw from any arm slot or angle. Okay. Miami's offense is an air raid system. Sometimes that can be very misleading. That gives him the ability to make adjustments as he sees fit based on what the defense is showing and requires him to make pre-snap reads. Where Ward's negative lies are the same issues I had in the 2024 NFL draft with Caleb Williams. He tries to play hero ball, and while he's proven he can make those plays, it also leads to back-breaking sacks and turnovers at times. Defenses defend Ward the same way they would defend Caleb, by dropping 8 into coverage, rushing 3 players, and letting him make mistakes. Ward is accurate throwing to every level of the field and can throw off platform with the best of them. Watching Ward's film can be frustrating at times because he's got the athletic traits to make plays with his legs and pick up free yardage, but chooses to wade and drift around in the backfield to look for a pass. This is something else here, all right? Although he's toned it down a lot, but Ward has fumbled 50 times. Now, what was one of the biggest things that, the biggest problems we had with Daniel Jones, especially his rookie season, and then it started getting better and better, was he had some intercept, but fumbling. Oh, my God. The fumbles were holy cow. But Cam Ward, right, has fumbled 50 times in his 5-year collegiate career. And while that number has been held just to 4 times this year, so you figure in his first 4 years, he's fumbled 46 times. That's basically 1 time a game he's fumbling the ball. He's played behind an elite offensive line. And the problem is that, when you're playing behind an elite offensive line, you go, that's all great. But if you're going to get picked number 1, 2, or 3 or something like that, why are those teams 1, 2, or 3, or 4? Where? Because they suck. Right? So, right, when you don't have an elite offensive line, a.k.a. like the New York Giants, what are you going to do? Huh? So, nothing would make us pull our hair out, right? Any more than just a quarterback back there fumbling the football. It would just bring back, shades of Daniel Jones from 2019 and 20 and all of that, right? I forgot exactly how many times Jones fumbled the ball his first couple of years, but it was a lot. If he doesn't have an elite offensive line, will those fumbles rear their ugly head once again? Right? You could say, you can just say, he's going to get smacked around with the Giants, quite possibly, The offense he plays and now gives him predetermined reads that won't be as freely available in the NFL, and he'll need to convince teams he can limit the mistakes when the pre-snap read doesn't pan out. And if playing Buffalo State Tech A&I is one thing. Coming to the NFL is something else, right? So, but the guy, is very, very good, but he's got to do a better job with that. Obviously with the fumbling. All of these guys have potential, but they all have some negatives to them as well. But listening to is that a couple of people say there's no Patrick Mahomes, there's no Josh Allen, there's no Matthew Stafford, and there's there's no Lamar Jackson, right? So if you're taking the guy number 1, it doesn't mean he can't be very, very good. Certainly doesn't mean that, but there's no surefire guaranteed hit at any of these guys here. And they said the next guy is the enigma. They're talking about Sanders. There may not be a more polarizing quarterback prospect than Shedeur Sanders. Sanders is a fearless passer that operates as a quarterback with the same level of confidence that his father, Deion, operated as a cornerback. Oh, yeah. Deion was very confident. Let me tell you what. When he's kept relatively clean in the pocket, he's deadly accurate and layers throws like a veteran. The issue is that when pressure gets in, He does a horrible job of extending plays with his legs and takes far too many sacks. In fact, 20.1% of all pressures on Sanders resulted in a sack. That's not good. A number that will need to improve at the next level. NFL teams will likely spend as much time as possible with Sanders to discuss some of the off-field things that I think they will be concerned about. Sanders has criticized his offensive line. Yep. In post-game press conference, and has taken to social media to voice concerns with former teammates that entered the transfer portal. Many fans won't care about these things, and many front offices might not, but the Giants as an organization will likely look further into the off-field concerns. The bigger concern is how Sanders breaks down when pressure gets in, considering he tends to hold the ball too long. Sanders holds the ball because he's risk-adverse. Being risk-averse is fine, but allowing that to lead to you to getting pressure and making mistakes isn't. Personally, I think that Sanders is playing in an offense that is quarterback-friendly right now, and it's leading to some of these breakdowns. So, then they got the last one, Jalen Milroe. And you look at Milroe's numbers. I mean, this his touchdown and interception rate is not very good at all this year. Jalen Milroe is the least pro-ready passer of the three quarterbacks, but he's also the best athlete by a large margin. Milroe has improved year over year as a passer, and while he's got less touchdowns and more interceptions in 2024 than in 2023, that doesn't tell the whole story. Milroe has made better decisions this year, but is hampered by being in the first year of a very different offensive system with the worst supporting cast he's ever had. But, yeah, I mean, if he's had a bad supporting cast now and he's not getting great numbers, what's he going to do when a crappy team like the Raiders or the Giants picks him? What's going to happen then? So, Alabama's receivers have almost twice as many drops in 2024 than they had in 2023 and fewer games than last year. Well, I mean, once again, in the years in the past, right, when Saban was there, it seems like every year you got like two wide receivers coming out in the first round from Ohio State, one or two wide receivers coming out in the first round from like LSU, one or two receivers coming out in the first round from Alabama. So what happens when you don't go to Alabama in the NFL, right? When they don't have 17 first-round wide receivers for you to throw the ball to, what's going to happen? Yeah. Milroe was another quarterback that took too many unnecessary sacks in 2023, but has taken that percentage down quite a bit this year. So obviously that's a plus. Milroe's issue, in comparison to Warren Sanders, is that he's the worst passer of the three by a considerable margin. His selling point is that if he does develop accordingly as a passer, he's got MVP upside. Well, okay, there you go. It's important to note here that despite getting the vote of confidence and reassurance that Shane and possibly Dable will be back, we've heard that before, only for it not to be true. So, however, if Dable is still the head coach, then I think the quarterback he would prefer most would be either Ward or Milroe due to their big-time arm talent while still being rushing threats. And that's something, it's amazing, though, you think about with like Deion Sanders and his son. I mean, because we got Cam Ward, Sanders' father's situation. Yeah. But you think about like with Sanders, is apparently he's like the worst of the three as far as like athletic running and stuff. You would think picture almost, if you will. I mean, if you remember Michael Vick back there. I mean, you give that guy, he's back there and he pulls that baby down, tucks that mofo, and he sees space. Good luck and God bless to the defense. It's almost like with Deion. It'd be the same thing with Deion Sanders. I mean, Michael Vick and Deion. I mean, if Deion was a quarterback, and so you would think it's like Deion. His son's got to be a freakish. I mean, he is. He's a phenomenal athlete. Don't get me wrong, but you would think about it. I could just see him like just almost like jumping over people and taking all that stuff. But he's like the worst out of all as far as like I guess making things happen. I guess with his legs and everything like that. But like this year, I mean, Cam Ward, Now, once again, I don't break down film. I don't have time for that. Wish I did, but I don't. But what we got this year? He's completed 67% of his passes. He has 36 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Very, very good. He's over 4,100 yards. I don't know how many more games they have. His rushing. I mean, he hasn't his past his last 5 games. He really hasn't ran the ball at all. What we got? Last year at Washington State, he had 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 2 years ago, Washington State, 23 and 9. So he's gotten a little bit better each year, right? But they also did mention that maybe he has a far superior offensive line with Miami than he did for Washington State. And I keep saying, one of the things is when you get drafted high, the reason why usually you get drafted high is because the team sucks. They got some deficiencies. Now with Shador, let's see here. He's got just 2 years, right? He's completing 74% of his passes, right? 35 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. We got here rushing attempts. I mean, he doesn't really run much at all, right? I mean, when he does, he's not averaging much, But he has over 3,900 yards, 12 games. Last year at Colorado, he was 27 and 3. So actually his interceptions have gone up this year. He was 27 and 3 last year. Very, very good. This year he's 35 and 8. So he's almost kind of like, it sounds a little bit kind of like with Sanders, almost like he tries to protect the ball maybe too much. He doesn't maybe want to try to turn the ball over, which in a sense is very good, very, very good. But sometimes instead of trying to get taking a chance on taking that shot, and maybe making it happen, it doesn't happen because he holds on to the ball because it might wind up being an interception. So it's got its good points and bad points to it. Now the thing is that if you don't want to take that shot down the field, but maybe you can tuck it and run. Okay, maybe you pick up some yards, whatever the defense might give you, but he doesn't seem to do that. So, but then you got Milroe. I mean, this year his touchdowns and interceptions. What was it? He's got 15 touchdowns this year with 10 interceptions. Played 12 games. Last year with Saban, right? It was 23 and 6, but that was his third year. That was 23 was his third year with Alabama. Third year, pretty much in the same system, same coach. But although his first 2 years, he hardly played at all. I mean, his first 2 years, he threw a grand total of 60 passes. But last year in 2023, he completed 65.8% of his passes for 2,800 yards. He had 23 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. But this year it's 15 and 10. So it's a brand new system and everything. So 15 and 10. I mean, Alabama's got 3 losses. I can't remember the last time Alabama had 3 losses. So it's gonna be very, very interesting. I mean, you certainly don't want the Giants reaching for a quarterback. That you certainly don't want to do. But I mean, if Dable's around, we're talking about him next. Yeah, we're going to talk about him next. But Dable's around. If him and Shane, if they got conviction about one of these guys, the thing is, if they draft a quarterback, right, next season, that'll give them pretty much another season. Pretty much because you draft a quarterback. And then after next season, they're say they're fired, and then you bring somebody else in. He may not want this quarterback, So, but if they have a conviction, I mean, you saw on Hard Knocks that Dable, it was asked. Shane asked him, "Would you want to trade up for Daniels?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." So, you don't know. You'll never know. You'll never hear and all this stuff and everything what Dable actually thinks about Daniel Jones. So one of those things, but I'm sure Daniel Jones was not his cup of tea. All right, but speaking of Dable, Oh yeah. Well, actually, I seen that there's 5 candidates to replace him, and then there's sort of another article. There was a whole ton of them. Um, obviously, you know, quite possibly not going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. One thing. I mean, there was no guarantee given to Eberflus from the Bears, but he got let go. Right? I mean, that was the thing was with him. I mean, the Bears have had so many close games, and they've had just so many losses, like in all different ways. But the one that they had, the one here against the Lions, and I'll tell you what, that was it was very impressive. There was also a point there almost to me with Detroit. It was almost like every other play I was watching a Detroit player like hobble off the field, like getting injured. So yeah. I can't remember who it was, but one of the Detroit players, one of their linebackers, I think it was, he got injured, I think, in that game. He's lost for the season. But the thing was, it was very, very impressive. It was that the Lions were like, just killing them. Oh, it was embarrassing. The yards, the time of possession, the point, just straight up, just embarrassing the Bears. But then the Bears in the second half, they just started coming back. But then, I guess, if you're coach, you should have better command, I guess, than what Eberflus had on a situation, because that final play, they had a timeout. There was like 30-something seconds left. And they get up to the line. Caleb's like calling signals and this and that and everything and whatever. And by the time he got the snap, I think it was 8th or 9th, like 20-something seconds rolled off the clock. Over 20 seconds rolled off the clock. Then he gets the snap. They standing in the pocket. Part of it was his fault, maybe not knowing exactly how much time was left or whatever. But he's standing in the pocket, and then, but also it's kind of like if he threw a shorter pass, it would have been incomplete quicker. Might have been a second or two left on the game clock. But he threw the ball probably to the deepest receiver in the field, and it took so long in the air, and by the time it landed, the game was over. So you let 30-something seconds roll off for the final play. I mean, I guess they just had enough with the coach, and they wound up getting fired. Hopefully that doesn't happen at the table. But there's plenty of candidates, right? Got this one here: 5 candidates who could replace Brian Daboll as the head coach. All right, first one, they got the Houston Texans offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick. Slowick is an intriguing name, particularly for teams searching for the next offensive wonderkind. He's played a key role in C.J. Stroud's development and comes from the much-admired Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. That connection alone will earn him plenty of interviews. But he is ready to lead. Is he ready to lead an entire franchise? While Slowick has proven himself as a play caller, the leap from coordinator to head coach, especially in a market like New York, is massive, as Daboll's finding out, right? Giants need someone who can not only install a modern offense, but also manage the intense scrutiny that comes with the job. Slowick is worth considering, but he feels more like a long-term project than an immediate fix. Then we got Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator. Now, a lot of these you notice here are offensive coordinators. Adam Stenovich might not be a household name, but he's quietly established himself as one of the NFL's best offensive minds. A former offensive lineman, Stenovich's ability to design dominant run games while also elevating quarterback play has been a key factor in Green Bay's success. What makes him especially intriguing for the Giants is his versatility. He's worked closely with both the offensive line and the quarterbacks, giving him a broad perspective of how to build an offense. Plus, at 41, he strikes a balance between youth and experience, which is true. You're not bringing in somebody who's 33 years old, but then again, you're not bringing in somebody who's 50-something years old either. So he's young, but he's got some experience to him. Giants ownership would be wise to give Stenovich a serious look. Then, of course, the next one would be Todd Monken from the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. Looks like I don't think Todd did a very good job today, as they only scored 12 points in their game. So, although their kicker, Justin Tucker, I don't know what happened to that dude. I mean, last year and all the years before that, the guy never missed it. He kicked 74,000 field goals in a row. Never hasn't missed one in 352 years. And this year he can't make an extra point. Can't kick a field. Can't do nothing. I don't know what the hell happened to that dude this year. Holy cow! Todd Monken has quietly built a resume that screams NFL head coach. After helping the Bulldogs to back-to-back national championships, he returned to the NFL last year and has revitalized Baltimore's offense. The Ravens' balanced attack under Monken has made life easier for Lamar Jackson, except for today. And his ability to tailor schemes to fit personnel is impressive. Monken has also head coaching experience, albeit in the college level, where he helped turn around a struggling Southern Miss program. His no-nonsense approach and knack for developing quarterbacks could be exactly what the Giants need. He may not have the flashiest name on the list, but he's a proven builder, something this franchise desperately needs. Yes. Then, of course, we have another offensive coordinator. Buffalo Bills offense. Wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be something? Get a Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator in here? Joe Brady. Joe Brady's name has been buzzing in coaching circles for years. At just 35, he's already had multiple stints as an offensive coordinator, including an impressive resurgence with the Bills this season. Brady's ability to adapt on the fly and maximize talent has put him back in the spotlight after a rocky stretch in Carolina. For the Giants, Brady could bring the youthful energy and innovative play calling they've lacked. He's shown he can work with young quarterbacks, which is crucial if the team plans to move past the failed Daniel Jones experiment. The biggest knock on Brady is his relative inexperience as a leader, but his offensive mind is undeniable. Then, of course, this guy has been. This guy might be at the top of almost all the lists I keep hearing all the time. Is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for obviously the Detroit Lions. If there's one coordinator who feels destined to become a head coach, it's Ben Johnson. His work with the Lions offense has been nothing short of spectacular. Detroit's high-powered creative attack has made them a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and Johnson is one of the main reasons why. However, there are some red flags. Johnson passed on head coaching opportunities last year, reportedly eyeing specific situations like the Chicago Bears, a questionable preference to say the least. If the Giants want to pair him with a new quarterback, they'll need to ensure he's fully committed to the process. Johnson has the skills to turn things around, but his willingness to embrace the challenge in New York remains a question mark. Then I seen, and I got another list here. Let's see, of course. Let's see. Aha, interesting. Assuming Mara walks back his vote on confidence and Dable is dismissed, here are 11 coaching candidates the Giants could turn to. Although there are plenty more. One of them, they say, is Mike Kafka. Holy cow, huh? The Giants look to clean house from top to bottom. That means assistant head coach and offensive coordinator Mike Kafka is toast too. However, Kafka has been a high commodity over the past 2 head coaching cycles and promises to be again despite having his play calling duties stripped by Dable this season. He is familiar with ownership, the players, and the building, and it would be the Giants' easiest transition. Yes, it would. Then, of course, we have Bill Belichick. I really don't think Bill, at his age, I don't think Bill would be the man for this one. I mean, he's always wanted to go back, to the Giants and all and everything. I just think at his age, replace Brian Dable is ruined. Well, the one thing is that Shane, and the scouting department and Brandon Brown, and all, they get the guys, right? But they, they don't develop them. They don't put them in position. Shane's not calling them on the phone. Yeah, I need you to put so-and-so in a guard today. Let's get so-and-so. Let's start building his foundation at God. And that's why. Then I want you to put so-and-so, the running back. Well, put him out there tight end. He doesn't do that. he gets the guys, and here you go, Brian, go play with them, and you run along and you develop them. You know what I mean? So it's, so some of it's kind of like, is Shane misfiring, right, on some of these picks, or are we just not developing them properly? If we had better coaches, would some of these coaches be developing some of these guys better? Kind of makes you think, but I mean, that's not for Shane. Shane is to go out there and get the players and then give them the table, and so and that's one of the things you're never going to know. But you do see, though, however, a lot of times, sometimes Giants let players go, and then they go someplace else, and they do really well. It's like, oh, guy didn't do that good here. Why is he doing so well over there? So kind of makes you wonder. Does make you wonder. I mean, you got to develop these guys, right? So I'm not too crazy about Belichick. I mean, at his age, I don't know, he's like 71 or 72 or something. I mean, that's just, I mean, I can't see the guy being around that long. The next one would be Mike Vrabel. There you go, right? Vrabel is a defensive-minded coach who picked up the AP Coach of the Year award in 2021 with the Titans. He had a tremendous success in his first 4 seasons, which included 3 consecutive playoff appearances before falling off in 2022 and 2023. Well, he never had a top-notch quarterback either. Give that dude frickin' Patrick Mahomes. I think things might be a little bit different. Give him a Josh Allen. Give him a top-notch quarterback. Right? He did have Derek Henry, right? So he was a frickin' beast. But he never had a top-notch quarterback. He was fired in January and spent the 2024 season as a consultant for the Cleveland Browns. He will be a hot commodity during the upcoming coaching cycle and may be of interest to the Giants. Steve Spagnuolo. Now, he's a great coordinator. He was never a very good coach. So I don't know why, but I mean, it says it right here. Would the Giants consider going back to the well for a third time? Spagnuolo has etched himself in NFL history as one of the best defensive coordinators ever, but has not shared that same success as a head coach. He was 1-3 as an interim coach with the Giants in 2017. And he was 10-38 as head coach of the then St. Louis Rams. He is beloved by the organization and their fans and may draw interest from several teams come January. But so you figure he's 11-41. It's not good. Now, granted, the teams he was on, were not very good, right? But I mean, he wins 1 out of every 4 football games. I mean, that's not very good. Some guys are really good coordinators, not good coaches. And of course, then they talk about Ben Johnson. He's going to get a lot of interest. Cliff Kingsbury had a slow build in Arizona following a steep fall. His Cardinals exit was abrupt and then followed by a year at USC where he helped develop Caleb Williams. This season, he served as offensive coordinator for the Commanders and really helping out Jaden Daniels, who appears to be a shoo-in for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Kingsbury runs a quarterback-friendly offense and would have his choice of signal callers if we joined the Giants in 2025. I don't know about this one. They're talking about Brian Flores. Now, he was the one going out of his way calling the Giants racist and everything, and I don't see this happening there. And it says here the Giants Flores situation is an ugly one, and it's hard to imagine a scenario where things could get patched up. That's not happening. Flores ain't coming here. He ain't gonna want to come here, and the Giants ain't gonna want him here. That's what happened. Todd Monken. We talked about him already with the Ravens. Bobby Slowick with the Texans. Evero with the Rams, and we talk about him here. Let's say he's 43, has an impressive all-around resume, having coached offense, defense, and special teams at the NFL level. He currently serves as a defensive coordinator at the Carolina Panthers, but his 17 years of experience will intrigue owners and general managers looking for a new coach. He's been a coach to watch for the upcoming cycle and has 8 head coaching interviews already under his belt, including 5 follow-up interviews. Jesse Minter, wow, comes from the John Harbaugh tree, and the former has served as a head coaching campaign manager in media interviews. He's beloved and respected by his players largely due to his open mind and humble approach. Minter has a wealth of experience, having learned under very successful coaches, but has yet to fly on his own. So the Giants and several other teams may be intrigued enough to seek an interview. So, I mean, once again, I mean, this is, just, I mean, as of right now, right? Shane will be back. Dave will be back. I mean, that's what Mara said. So unless we wind up getting blown out in the final 5 games or so, I don't see anything wind up being different. So maybe on to some good news here, right? Malik Neighbors is on a record-setting pace. Oh yeah, gotta love him. Look at that. And I seen what the heck was it? Was it the first 10 games of their career? I think it might have wound up being. I saw a chart, and it said most receptions by a player. And I think it was the first 10 games of their career, or the first 12 games or something of the career, whatever. Like 3 of the top 5 guys were Giants. It was like, holy cow. Obviously, Odell Beckham, Malik, and Saquon. Because remember, his rookie season, Saquon caught 92 or 93 balls his rookie season. Of course, the Giants could never. Yeah, I mean that was with Shermer there, right? Shermer's not a good coach, but he was, that had a decent idea of how to call plays and all. He was able to get. He got a lot out of Saquon. Got over 2. Saquon had to stay healthy though too, right? But Saquon got over 2,000 all-purpose yards with the Giants. He had 92 or 3 receptions. Then in 2019, Shermer's final season with the Giants, Daniel Jones was here, and in 12 starts, Daniel Jones threw 24 touchdown passes. He threw 2 touchdown passes a game all season long. I mean, on an average. I mean, that's freaking phenomenal. I mean, nowadays we can't even get Daniel Jones to throw 1 touchdown pass a game, right? But his rookie season, Shermer got him 2 touchdown passes a game. He had some deficiencies too. He had a lot of fumbles. Whoops, we didn't have a great team or anything like that. But Sherman got some stuff out of him. But good old Malik, and unfortunately Malik missed a couple games, right? But he's on a record-setting pace, despite missing 2 games. Neighbors could be headed toward a rookie record for receptions. Love it. Giants' 2024 season has been a miserable. In the midst of the misery, though, it has been clear that number 6 overall pick Malik Neighbors is a special talent. The rookie wide receiver has the numbers and a 10-game NFL record to prove it. With 8 catches for 69 yards on Thanksgiving Day, Neighbors increased his season total to 75 catches, an NFL rookie record for the first 10 games of a career. The previous mark, that was 71, set by Odell Beckham Jr. with the Giants in 2014. Here's the top 5. Okay, this is what I was talking about right here. Okay, all right, okay. Malik, at the first 10 games of their career, Malik Neighbors is 75. He's number 1. Odell Beckham is number 2. So the Giants have the number 1 and number 2. And it's hard to believe, it really, you think about this, it's really, really hard to believe that 3 of the top 5 guys on this list, not only were Giants, they're still in the NFL, right? Of course, 2 of them we let go, but at least we have 1 of them. But it's hard to believe. I mean, you think about it, wrap your brains around. As crappy as we've been, the crap offense we've had, can't score a touchdown, can't score points, this, that, and We've had 3 of the top 5 guys on this list as far as receptions in their first 10 career games. Whew, wow. They were Giants. So you got Brock Bowers, who has 70. Now, it's also interesting, too, because if you remember on Hard Knocks, Dable obviously worked at Alabama for 1 year, and he's close with Saban. And I think he picked the phone up and he talked to Saban. And he said, Saban said there was 2 pain in the players that he always had to worry about, whatever, in his draft coming up. And because Dave was asking him about the receivers and stuff like that, and he said there was 2 pain in the players that were trouble. He said one was Brock Bowers, and the other one was Malik Neighbors. And how right he is, because these 2 guys right here. And you look at it too, right? These are 2 obviously on the absolute trashiest teams in football, the Raiders and the Giants. And these guys are setting NFL, rookie record. For 10 games, 11 games. But it just goes to show you they're on they got Aiden O'Connell throwing a football, and Bowers got 70 receptions in his first 10 games. We're not talking about Joe Montana back there. We're not talking about Tom Brady. We're not talking about Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about Aiden O'Connell, I think. Throwing balls, and the guy has 70 catches in his first 10 games. So Saban was right about Bowers and about Neighbors. He was spot on with those 2 guys. All right, so we got then, of course, Puka Nacua. I guess it was last year. He had 69 receptions in his first 10 games. And then, of course, Saquon Barkley, his first 10 games of his career in 2018, he had 64 receptions. So it's hard to believe 3 of the top 5 guys on this list are Giants. And they're all still active. Except, unfortunately, only one of them. Could you imagine? Now, of course, Odell is not even close to his prime anymore. Because this would be his 11th season. So he's a shell of himself, he still can catch and all that stuff, but he's not 2014, 2015. All the injuries he's had really slowed him down a lot. But could you imagine, right? Just if we got all these freaking guys, if we got like an Odell in his prime, Malik Neighbors this year. We got healthy Saquon on the Giants, and Eli slinging the ball to these guys. And so, wow, man. We've had some really good receivers over the years. Just a lot of them, unfortunately get injured. And just, with Cruz and Hakeem Nicks, right? He got injured by him. Even go back to Shockey. Right. He broke his leg, and then we let him go. And then, of course, Plaxico Burress shoots himself in the leg. But we've had some really good wide receivers, really good. Neighbors has a chance to break Beckham's 12-game record of 91 catches. So he's going to need. Beckham, wow. So Beckham. Looks like so Odell Beckham had 71 catches after 10 games. 91. I didn't look at his, but 90 after 12. So is it 11th and 12th games? He must have caught 20 passes. Guy was pretty good, huh? So if Malik can catch like 8 and 8, he'd be able to tie Odell Beckham's record. So we'll have to wait and see. Feed the dude the ball. Whatever you got to do. I don't give a rat's rear end if you take Tommy, whoever the quarterback is, put the quarterback on the sideline for a play, get Malik under the center. I don't give get Malik in the wild, something. Get them the ball. If he's your most dynamic player, get them. Look at the ball. Why we? It was like, what was it? It was against the Bucks. And hey, I mean, he after the game, he's chewing on his gum. But, he's like, I ain't got no targets in the first half. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And even in the game before that against Carolina, I mean, he was open on the side. I mean, this is just a small microcosm, whatever. Standing open, he's on the sideline. Daniel Jones, clean pocket, fires at him, threw it like 35 feet over his head. It's kind of like, are we serious? But I mean, in the second half, Malik got caught 6 passes. Why couldn't we do that in the first half? We couldn't find something for the guy. I mean, why find something for the guy. I mean, we put him out wide with a couple of other guys out there. Get a quick pass out to him, get the ball in his hands. Get the shotgun, get him in motion as he's coming by. Get the snap, flip it to him, let him get the ball in the dude's hands, man. But so if he can get 16 catches in the next 2 games, he'll be up to 91, which will tie Odell Beckham for the most receptions by a player in the first 12 games of a career. Let's see. Most catches through 12 games in a career since 1970, since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970. Odell Beckham has got 91. Brock Bowers has got 84. Puka Nacua and Jalen Waddle were tied with 77. Malik Neighbor, Saquon is 74, right? Reggie Bush had 73 in his first 12 games. Anquan Bolden at 70. Michael Thomas at 69. And Eddie Royal, well, forgot about him, had 69 receptions as well. So Malik has got 75 catches. All right. But he's got 2 games to play to get to obviously his 12. Right. So if he can get 16 catches in the next 2 games, he'll at least tie Beckham. So he's, he can do it. He can do it. It might wind up being like kind of like the, he's not getting long targets, deep targets or not like that. He's kind of seeming like, unfortunately, with the offense that we have kind of going on here, it's more of like a possession kind of receiver kind of, he's short stuff and everything. But I mean, I don't see why we can't get the ball. The guy gets open. He gets open. I don't understand why we can't find a guy 2 times each quarter for a pass. I mean, there's a new sheriff in town. I mean, unfortunately, Saquon's gone. The new sheriff's name is Malik. Get them the ball. Whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. I mean, one of the things is that the Giants have been horrible at, right, is slow starts. No better example than against the Bucks. We're down, 23-0 at half. Was it 23-0 at halftime? I think it was. We don't have any points at halftime. What are we doing? Slow starts against Carolina. Slow start, right? We got to start scoring some points. I know we're on a 3rd-string quarterback and our offensive lines are showing up, but get the ball to your best player. That's Malik Neighbors, right? Throw him the ball. And I wish he would maybe do a little bit better as far as with the drops, but he also said that too. He said, I kind of in a way I get a kick out of his attitude. He's like, I don't care if I drop the. I think he said 6 times a game. Just keep throwing it to me. But that's what you want a wide receiver, number 1. Throw it to me, baby. I wish he would do a little better, catching the balls and not dropping so many. But that's what you brought him in for. That's his attitude. That's what you want from a number 1 wide receiver. Throw me the ball, right? Get it to him. So one nice thing is that as bad as this season's been, right, pick 6 for the New York Football Giants in this draft has been really nice, really, really nice. And if just thinking, right, if you don't want to reach, That's the last thing you want to do. Well, we need a quarterback, so we have to take a quarterback. Whether we like it or this guy or not, we gotta kick him. You know, can't do that. Can't do that. I mean, how cool would it be if we were to draft Hunter? If we didn't like, if just for whatever reason, say they were, don't forget free agency, right? Comes before the draft. Now there can be some guys out there in free agency. If the Giants could, get themselves a free agent, a bridge guy, maybe they can sign him for a couple of years, and now the Giants have a year or two maybe to find a quarterback. If they're not thrilled to death with this class, maybe the next year's class, whatever. But I mean, how cool would it be if we were to get Malik Neighbors and Hunter out there? Very nice, huh? That would be nice. That way, when we do get a quarterback, he'd have some weapons to throw the ball to. Right? We'd have like 2 number 1 wide receivers. That would be absolutely fantastic. But so we got a long way to go here. All right, then the last one I saw here was, this one, you got Emmanuel Forbes here. Now, if he's taken and he doesn't even last 2 seasons with a team. He's a first-round pick. I can see if this guy was a 5th, 6th round, 7th, 4th round, or something like that. But if this guy here doesn't even last, and he's a first-round pick. Now, granted, okay, he was not picked by this regime. This regime came in, and he was already with, there's Ron Rivera, and I can't remember whoever their GM was. They picked this guy. And this guy was picked before Banks was taken. But I mean, he didn't even. I think he was number 16. I think he was overall. Didn't even last 2 years. I mean, wow. Whew. I can't see anybody picking him up right away because, as it says in this article here, they'll probably wait from the clear waivers. Then he becomes like a free agent, right? And then I think maybe somebody it might be the same thing with like a Daniel Jones kind of thing. They can get him, maybe throw him on the practice squad or something like that, maybe. Because he's, if somebody goes right out and I think gets him, I think they're on the hook for, I think, like his salary. And, he may not be worth what his rookie salary is, but let's see here. Should the Giants take a chance on recently released former first-round pick? Emmanuel Forbes might intrigue the Giants, who could use cornerback depth. Yes, they could. Not even 2 years after drafting, number 16 overall, the Washington Commanders have given up on Emmanuel Forbes, waiving their 2023 first-round pick. Now, once again, the regime that's in there now, it was Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera. GM Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera, the head coach. So they should have drafted Forbes for the Commanders, but obviously they're not with the Commanders anymore. So should the Giants, badly in need of young talent and depth in their secondary, take a flyer on Forbes? Let's not make Forbes out to be something he hasn't been. He hasn't been good with Washington. No, his missed tackle percentage is absolutely freaking atrocious. His missed tackle percentage in college was absolutely freaking atrocious. He played 14 games as a rookie, starting in just 6 of them. He was picked number 16. Right? They did not have a phenomenal defense last year, right? And he was only able to start 6 games for him. He had 103 passer rating against them and a 15.7 missed tackle rate. He had an abominable 30% missed tackle rate this season. Horrible. The new GM, Adam Peters, and defensive-minded head coach Dan Quinn had little use for Forbes. A beanpole. I mean, this guy, I thought Cordell Flott was thin. This guy is even thinner. He's at 6 foot tall and he's listed at 180 pounds. But who measured 166 pounds at the 2023 NFL Scouting Combine. 166 pounds. Whew. Forbes played in just 6 games at 1 start for Washington this season. He had played only 8 defensive snaps since week 8. I mean, his first-round pick. In the past, month, he's played 8 snaps. I mean, it's almost kind of like I'm thinking about with Isaiah Simmons. It's like, why is this guy? This guy's a phenomenal, athlete. You just not find a spot for him. Giants have Deonte Banks taking 8 picks after Forbes. Cordell Flott and Drew Phillips as their starters. They have nothing, though, behind the trio that could comfortably go forward with in 2025. Veteran Adoree Jackson probably won't be back next season. It was a surprise he was back this season. Trey Hawkins is usually inactive. Art Green and Greg Stroman are really practice squad players. So I'm sure we're going to have different guys on the practice squad next year and all in the ring. Should we take a chance on Forbes? Of course, we had McCann, right? But we wound up letting him go. Claiming Forbes on waivers would mean the Giants would be on the hook for whatever remains of the final 2+ years of his fully guaranteed $15 million rookie contract. So if the Giants are interested, the more likely path would be signing him as a free agent after he clears waivers to avoid taking on his rookie contract, which is kind of like what the Vikings did with Daniel Jones. If they got him before he cleared waivers, they'd be on the hook for the rest of his salary for this season. But he cleared waivers, and then they were able to grab him, throw him on the practice squad, where they don't have to pay him the rest of his salary this season, which was almost like $12 million from the Giants. Now, whoever wrote this article, let's see, said Forbes was my 9th-ranked cornerback in 2023. So it's correct to assume that I thought the Commanders overdrafted him to a degree. A year and a half later, things have unfortunately played out in ways that would seem to confirm it. But what was interesting about Forbes' college tape was that he had more on the ball then than he does now. And some of the flaws that have shown up in the NFL were not there in college. I do think that with the right situation and the right combination of defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach and teammates could put a change into Forbes and make him into more than what he is today. But now the pressure is on Forbes to prove that he's more than just another name in a long line of recent first-rounders who just didn't work out in the nation's capital. Would Forbes be worth a flyer for the Giants as a free agent? Now, let me just show you here. If I share my screen, get Forbes up here. Share the screen. There we go. Oh, there he is. Okay. Now, show you Forbes' from what he's been doing in the pros here. His senior season in college, his grades were good, but if you look at the missed tackle rate, I mean, oh my God! I mean, the Giants, that one of the biggest. I mean, they've had a bunch of problems, especially on defense. One of them is missed tackles, and Forbes fits right in there. Oh my God! Wow! But if we look here, right? This is senior season, 2023, 2020. I'm not bad, 2022, senior season, Mississippi State, right? So if you look here, right, he's grading out at 87 overall. His 87.8, his run defense, 81. His tackling, 67.7, but his coverage grade was almost a 90. Fantastic. Now, he got some. He went up against LSU, right? He went up against Malik Neighbors, right? He went up against Alabama, went against Georgia. Although, you look here, you see, when he went up against Georgia, his coverage, when he went up against elite guys like a Malik Neighbors, look, his coverage grade was only 56. Right? When he went up against lesser teams like East Tennessee State and Ole Miss, he's grading out at 78, 79. Against Arkansas, he graded out at 91. But when he went up against Georgia, his coverage grade was a 55. When he went against Alabama and their great wide receivers, his coverage grade was a 64. Right, against Georgia, his overall grade was a 52. So when he played against, like a Bowling Green, right, his grades weren't too bad. Against upper echelon talent is where he's maybe seen some of his deficiencies. But if I scroll over here, you look at his missed tackle rate. He missed 14.6% of his tackles, according to PFF. That's all I'm going by because that's all I have to go by, right? So he missed 14.6, which is not very good. I mean, it could be a little bit better. But if you look here, right, in 2021, he graded out of 75. In 2022, 2020, he graded out of 67. So each year he got a little bit better, which is cool. That's what you want to see. But let me slide this over here. Whoops. There we go. Right. Once again, his missed tackle rate, right? His first year, he missed 8 tackles. It was 16%. He missed 20% of his tackles in his second season. He missed 13 tackles. He missed 20%. So, but then if we go here to the pros, for NFL, we'll go to 2023. We'll go over here. All right, now, the same thing. This is, what is this? Which year is this? What did I do? This is last season. Okay, last season, right? Notice his missed tackle rate, almost 19%. He's missing almost 1 out of every 5 tackles. That's not good. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Now you'll see his tackling grade here, 27, a 24, a 44, 28. I mean, just very, very bad. But you see last year, his overall grade was a 50.9. His run defense, 28.4. Tackling, 41.9. His coverage grade is a 57.6. I mean, not phenomenal. Then you look, okay, let's go to 2024 this season, and you'll see he hardly played at all, right? Grand total of 108 snaps this season. 108. A first-round pick number 16 the year before, played a grand total of 108 snaps for you this season. Now you look here. Missed tackle. He missed 6 tackles. 46.2%. He apparently, according to PFF, he had 3 solo tackles, 4 assisted tackles, and 6. So he had, according to PFF, he had the opportunity to get either making solo or assisted 13 tackles. He missed 6 of the 13. So he missed 46% of his tackles. I mean, and that's one of the last things the Giants need. Right. But you'll see here, right, his defensive grade. Once again, this is just by PFF. They have their own grading system, right? But 35.4. His run defense, 33.9. Tackling, 24.9. I mean, these are almost look like Evan Neal grades from Evan Neal when he was a rookie. I mean, just atrocious. His coverage grade, 38.1. I mean, just absolutely horrible. Once again, taking a flyer on him, right? I mean, the guy is really small. I mean, I look at like Cordell Flott, and I'm like, damn, that dude's. I'll tell you what, Cordell Flott's had himself a nice season though for the Giants, very, very good. But once again, he's so thin too. But you look at Emmanuel Forbes, that guy's, oh my God, that guy looks like a toothpick, really. But if he clears waivers and you can get him on maybe with the right defense coordinator, maybe get Jerome Henderson working some of his magic with him, right? Is he ever going to be a shutdown corner? No, absolutely not. But can it be maybe some depth for the Giants, maybe going forward? A young, let me say, what? He is 23. He'll be 24 in January. So once again, he's young, right? 24 years old, right? In January. So, Benny J. Man. Oh man, he's. I mean, there was a picture of him. He looks like, oh my God. Well, he said that he's listed at 180 pounds, but at the combine he was 166 pounds. It's like, wow, my God. I mean, he's. I don't know if he's just too afraid to really get in there and mix it up because he's afraid of getting hurt. Because you figure, I mean, if he's 160 pounds, 170 pounds, he's got guys pulling guards and stuff. They're almost twice his weight. So maybe he's just too afraid to get in there and mix it up. Maybe he's worried about getting injured. I don't know. But, I mean, obviously the best thing to do, I mean, the way he's played is that, I'm sure that all the teams are going to let him clear waivers, and then maybe somebody will try to bring him in and maybe stick him on the practice squad and whatever, maybe elevate him a couple times, keep him on the practice squad. And then maybe after the season's over with, if he's a free agent or whatever, then I guess maybe they can maybe start work out some type of deal with him or whatever. But he might be worth a try. But his missed tackle rate is absolutely atrocious. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 25 minutes. Vinny G-Man, thank you, brother. Creative Solutions, Matt Newsom. Thank you, guys. Thanks for staying up late with me. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So, whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.